I'm a filmmaker. I'm doing this documentary because I'm looking for my Dr. House, my Hugh Laurie. I do. I need him. I need, be he asshole, be he friend. I need someone who's gonna keep punching around until they find Vanessa's reset button and figure out how to make me whole again. I'm still nauseous. And sick. And I'm not supposed to look sick.
You look great.
Who wants to live like this? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? This wrong with my body? You tell me, what is this? Oh, me? I'm not supposed to ask that question. Why me? You see more of one type than the other. Is that correct or no?
I think, in fact, the most common type, which is, I think, frustrating for many people, is idiopathic. And the word literally means unknown cause, meaning that we see people that are having recurrent swelling, we do lots of testing, and at the end of the day, we can't pinpoint exactly why they're having their symptoms.
I do think that it can kill me also. It can also get worse. I mean, I'm 14 years old, and the severity of this disease, I kind of have a feeling that this might be what's going to kill me, and I'm 14 years old. No 14-year-old should know what's going to kill them.
This happened about nearly 5 years ago. I developed it just out of the blue after having the second child. I swell up to the point of bursting. At best it disfigures me, I'll swell up looking like Jabba the Hutt, or at worst it unfortunately it has in the past nearly killed me.
It is a condition that you almost kind of got to get out it, so to speak. When we swell, we look like freaks. Good morning, it's Vanessa Williams. It's the day after our Wellness Expo. This is what my eyes look like, and I'm not crying, I'm just tearing up. They're burning so badly that they just keep running. But yeah, it was a great day. Of course, obviously I worked hard, and maybe a little too hard, so this is what I'm looking like right now. But anyway, I'm really glad for the day.
Good morning, it's Vanessa Williams, executive producer of Life Without a Fork and leading advocate worldwide for the rare, potentially fatal conditions in which I suffer, idiopathic angioedema. These are cry swells. We're not allowed to cry. So what's on Life Without a Fork? Tell everybody, get the word out. Celebrities, come find me. Come find me. Make this your chorus too. This is your chorus too. Come find me. Oprah, come find me. I'm serious too. Come find this Vanessa Williams. Life Without a Fork. We need right attention. Right attention now.
When I asked them to just view a 2-minute trailer, literally one of the nurses did this, and the doctor refused to watch. So that's the kind of attention that we're getting. None or bad. Really bad.
sitting all alone. There's nowhere left to go. People walk right by, like I'm out of sight. Standing in the back, there's no room for me. People talk crap, and that's the only time they'll see that I just wanna be more than invisible. I just wanna be more than imperceptible. I just wanna be loved. They say I'm just a geek, then walk right over me. They say this should be the end. They don't ever wanna see me again. I just wanna
I'm Deborah.
My name is Solstice Jensen.
I'm Meredith, Fallow.
My name is Campbell.
My name is Brian Holden.
My name is Shelline Ross.
I'm
Marc Williams. It's Katya Williams.
I'm Dr. Marc Riedl.
Hey, it's Vanessa Williams. Checking in to see if my swells have gone down any significant amount, because it's about an hour later. So, but not a whole lot, but some. But I'll check back in again later, guys. I am disabled.
So I've been diagnosed with angioedema.
Angioedema?
Angioedema. Right? Did I say it right?
What is it? Idiopathic? Idiopathic.
Like an idiot.
Okay, idiopathic.
Angioedema.
Angioedema. Idiopathic angioedema. Okay. Idiopathic angioedema, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Idiopathic angioedema.
Ready?
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Deborah. I am a producer for House Hunters, and I am here in gorgeous Huntington Beach, California for the Wellness Expo. I'm here to raise awareness and support angiopathic, I can't even say it. I can't say it. There's no way I can say that. What else do you want me to say? Can someone write it, like put it up like as a cue card? Idiopathic and, but say it to me again. I don't know what I'm saying.
I know.
Idiopathic angioedema? Is that it? Trust me, I won't get it. Because it's just really hard to say.
Yeah, it was good.
What's up, y'all? We in sunny California. This is Amin Joseph. You might know me from The Miss, The Expendables, Zane Sex Chronicles, a list of TV credits and other films. I produce films too. Okay, so what are we doing? Angio, like heart. Angio. Angioedema. Angioedema. No. Angioedema. No. That's right? That's correct. Okay. Angioedema. Okay. Angioedema. All right.
That's the whole point, right?
I gotta go again. I gotta memorize my part.
This is Trisha Goodman. One more time. Go again. Action.
Just cut it and let me just say idiopathic angioedema. Idiopathic angioedema. Thank you, Vanessa Williams, for all of your efforts with Life Without a Fork. Coming to you soon, live, by the one and only Vanessa Williams. We so appreciate all of your efforts, everything that you've poured your heart, blood, and soul into. And we all want to support idiopathic angioedema.
If you tell somebody I have whatever, I don't know how the name of the condition.
It's called angioedema.
If you tell somebody that you have that, they'll probably never ask you how much you know, is it life-threatening or are you on medication or are you...
All right, we're recording. Okay, so hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So I think we should just start with maybe just you should just tell me a little bit about angioedema. Is that your condition?
Yeah, that's it, and that's probably one of the reasons why I want to get the word out, because you have to go back and read it. It's not a very commonly known condition.
Angioedema is an uncomfortable and disfiguring type of temporary swelling. Essentially, small blood vessels deep in your skin excrete liquid through their walls. The swellings happen most often in the lips and other parts of the mouth and throat, the eyelids, the genitals, and the hands and feet. Chronic angioedema is when these swellings happen frequently or on a regular basis. At worst, angioedema can be life-threatening.
I suffer from chronic angioedema, and that just means that it's an allergy-related situation that doesn't go. The chronic means that it doesn't go away. It doesn't mean the chronic, but I have a nephew who has acute angioedema, so he only reacts if he come into contact with meat or meat protein. But we don't have the condition known as hereditary angioedema, and there are a lot of studies for HAE, hereditary angioedema, and there are a lot of treatments for HAE, but there are no solutions for angioedema unto itself if it's not hereditary.
There are no researchers, educational institutions, medical facilities, foundations, or publications that have taken enough of an interest to find cause or cure for idiopathic angioedema. Although many lives are greatly altered and even lost as a result of the condition.
Miss Williams has been living with chronic angioedema for quite a few years now, and it's not an easy disease to cope with. I only wish she were still here in the Capital District receiving treatment with me. Chiropractic and other holistic professions have made great strides in effectively treating the usual, and in Miss Williams' case, unusual symptoms, whereas Western medicine has been pretty ineffective.
Totally psyched. So, what's today's date? Today is May 16th, 2013, and on the 23rd, Filmview Productions is going to have the opportunity to film, and as part of our project, one of our 3 national renowned angioedema specialists, Dr. Marc Riedl. So I'm super excited about this opportunity. Hey, to the ER staff and my other allergist and so forth, look, I'm really sick and there's really something going on, so I'm just all in my head.
Is it hard? Is that a hard concept for you to think about when they, when people say like it's in your head, or you're just thinking, you've thought yourself into this situation?
It depends on who.
because I'm smart enough to hear the differences in questions, or when people ask you certain things, or when people say certain things. So there are people who are disbelievers just because they want everything to be about them, so they could give a shit about whether or not something's true for you or not. And so I have enough of those in my life that I'm minimizing now.
I've never seen a segment done on television on that condition, and I'm pretty sure if you take a survey, I'm sure that's the beauty of the internet, that you have access to so many people around the world. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people in your situation and worse, because not everybody is an educated patient. I mean, you're fortunate that you have educated yourself and have taken the time to learn.
Teaching hospitals are more driven and more successful with trying to get to the root of what our problems are with regards to asthma, allergies, angioedema for years now. Again, it took me so long to just go ahead and find that right doctor, and it feels weird to me sometimes when I go in and I'm being seen and they ask me, about my symptoms with the angioedema, and they ask me angioedema specific questions. I'm almost floored. I don't know what that's like. I don't know what that's like.
That's it. So psyched out. I'll let you guys know how the interview goes. I'll do a follow-up. Finally, yeah, we're gonna get some good attention, guys.
Celebration. Star bright.
Okay, can you tell us your name?
Sure, I'm Dr. Marc Riedl, and I'm an associate professor at the UCLA David Geffen School of Medicine.
What got you interested in studying immunology and or angioedema?
I've always been interested since the time I was at the university in, I guess, unusual things, or things that are a little less common. And as my medical career progressed, I found myself gravitating to people who were struggling with conditions that either weren't recognized or hadn't been diagnosed, or we didn't have good treatments for. And so when I arrived at UCLA 12 years ago, I began to see groups of patients, including those with swelling, with angioedema, for which we either didn't know why they were swelling, or if we did, we had very few treatments available.
And then what are your specialties?
So my background is in initially internal medicine. I'm also board certified in allergy and immunology, and I have a certification in clinical pharmacology also.
You're one of the 3 specialists for idiopathic angioedema or angioedema. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah. One of my clinical interests is angioedema, and that includes all forms, so we can talk a bit about the specific types, but I do see many patients with angioedema, which is the symptom of swelling, either of the skin or other parts of the body. In addition to that, I'm interested specifically also in immunodeficiencies, and some angioedemas are due to an underlying immunodeficiency.
Today though?
I didn't eat much today.
Alright, well, what did you eat yesterday? Tell me how much.
I didn't eat at all yesterday, so today I ate.
Hold on, when did you get full? Tell me when you
Today I got full because I had 2.5 pieces of grilled lemon tofu, and then I drank a whole bunch of kombucha behind that, so that's what I had to eat today.
And what was yesterday? I thought.
And then some coconut, of course.
Okay.
I had the pastrami on rye, and it's very good. I ate the chicken out of the chicken Caesar salad. It was good. Tomato and lettuce. I had pizza. I'm probably just going to taco because I do have a gluten allergy and a dairy allergy.
I have no allergies that I'm aware of. I like to eat everything.
What can I eat and not have a reaction? Is nothing.
I gotta eat food.
That never changes. That hasn't changed in 5 years.
I love food.
Only thing that keeps changing is I get less to eat.
Girl Scout cookies rock.
Like there's certain things I'm never gonna try again. Like I'll never try red meat.
I'm more of a Subway sandwich kind of girl.
I'll never try seafood again.
Crab legs is my favorite. Alaskan king crab legs with a thing of butter and a big iced tea. That's all I want to eat.
The lips are swollen, more swollen every morning.
I eat a lot of dairy in the morning.
So some things are just swelling and uncomfortable and stressful to eat.
I love big dinners, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, corn.
The lips are like swollen now. My lips aren't normally this big.
I want to up my protein.
You know how many people said that, oh, you know, Angelina Jolie had to pay for those lips. Stop crying about it.
The fish market that's down the street, I saw all different types of fishes.
And then when you go online and you look at people with angioedema, you'll see that like a lot of people with huge swelling in the lips.
We have a magazine and I could point out everything I like.
I have the first picture from 2006 when I got the huge lips and the skinny neck.
I lived on a farm for 4 years of my life and I had fresh eggs.
Everything like affects one thing, next thing.
So ever since I have fresh eggs and then eating eggs from the grocery store, totally different.
So this like there's a pulsing right here on the side of my lip that's like just beeping.
When the egg is still warm and then you crack it open and eat it, it's just it just tastes different.
But I get a lot of pain, like I said, a lot of swelling comes right here and the bottoms of my legs, and this stays. Like the swelling here stays, and the pain with it stays.
I guess what you need to do is like one thing at a time.
I like to get more into tofu.
I'm really scared to introduce anything, even a vitamin.
I like fish and I like beef and I like pork and I like everything that a vegan doesn't like.
The ones that are like the seafood and the sodium is it's spices.
Interested in exotic foods that I haven't tried.
Those are 911 calls and I don't care who suggests. I'm not.
Back through, I don't know, where should we go from here?
Two big things, like the weight. You could talk about like in the order you started becoming allergic things, and also like the weight loss. Start if you want to do that.
I have a hard time believing that you were
245 pounds.
How much?
245 pounds.
245.
Yeah.
So I am leaving Dr. Grindelman's office where I drove this lady crazy. She's a sweetheart and she's an awesome doctor. We may try Doxepin, and some other stuff, and I'm so glad that she was patient with me. And yeah, so wish me luck on my angioedema journey. And this is
162.
She got her priorities straight. I'm 123. 123. What even that?
So can you show me what you...
About 27 and a half. My hips.
You mean 26 and a half?
Was it 27 and a half?
You said you did 26 with
no,
the
that was the
squeeze.
squeeze, but without the squeeze it's 27 and a half. My hip. See all the way around. All the way around.
Right now, I am 123 pounds, and I am 5'9", so I'm about 25 pounds or more underweight. I am a vegan.
Yeah, and see, so that's the thing, like I've made like delicious meals and I completely forgot all of them because I'm so stressed out now because it's nothing. It's all bland.
Do you drink? You can't drink coffee, of course not. That's a killer.
I am so not even trying. It's everybody's.
I know, it's terrible.
You can have it without the cream and it's still going right through. You'd be like, okay, what's that about? You can't do your secondhand smoke under pressure. This is Alexandra.
Secondhand smoke. It's my fixed.
Isn't she gorgeous?
Sometimes I even do.
So yeah, that's Alex, and this is my version, okay? No, don't get that donut. Get that one with the cream. Tell me that wasn't a good pick. Oh my gosh, yeah. You know, like get the meat with the extra No, the ribs. That one right there. Do you mind if I sit down and watch you eat? Do I want some? Yeah. Can't have any. I just sit there and watch and enjoy vicariously. And it was a good thing for me for a long time, like maybe 5 years of that. And then like the January thing, when like everything in my life got shut down, I stopped enjoying. There's no pleasure in food. And that's the other thing. I get a lot of people who go, oh, you just should man up about it. You just need to handle it. You gotta eat something, and I've done that for 6 years, manned up about it, taking more stuff out, less. What the hell? Because vegetables, I got sick. I took the fruits I manned up on that one. On the fruits, I manned up. I man up on everything, I man up on this shit. I man up on it. You know how many people are overweight they can't man up on just letting go a piece of pork? I took it all away. But now I've got maybe 4 food items, and they're all tasteless for the most part. They're bland. I'm bragging when I got some good collard greens and kale, and I can put fresh garlic and fresh onion, and that's a delight.
Yeah.
That bite caused the next roll in sequential from the cantaloupe bite to the watermelon bite. And then it takes away the basic stuff out of my diet, which is just plain potato, a plain potato or plain brown rice or tofu. I don't know, I had avocado, all these things I ate before July, before August, during August even, some of them. And now they're all gone again, and I don't know which one is which. I just know that anything I put in my body right now is causing me to swell. Yeah, unpredictable, I can't count on it, and it is exhausting. It still is a little bit challenging. I can't even say a little bit challenging. It depends on the day, and I'm sure you guys who are swellers understand what that means. One day the food is in, one day out, depends on how heightened your mast cells are activated, and then also the stressors, the crying, the emotional, all of the emotional baggage that comes with having this disease.
I can understand how challenging it is for daily living, just day-to-day things. I go to the beach. Half of the time I don't get food. I don't bring food. I just stop and get pizza or McDonald's or whatever with Marky. But if I was in your situation, I would take, even the water would have to be planned. Something simple. So basic as water.
So is that just like just typical like food intolerances, like people who find that they're lactose intolerant or gluten intolerant? Was it a slow progression?
I had gotten diagnosed through a whole lot of testing and not fun stuff to say that I am allergic to dairy products as opposed to just an intolerance to it. The other foods I think I started with meat protein probably was first, red meat. I met a woman from Switzerland. I used to get extreme migraine headaches, and she told me if I take red meat out of my diet that the migraines will go away. The doctors were giving me like 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, and they were saying the next step for treatment for that level of pain would be some kind of a narcotic, and I'm not really big on taking accelerating drugs. So the woman from Switzerland says, because I was getting 5-day headaches until I regurgitated the food. And I couldn't see even. It would blind me. The headaches were so bad. And then once I took the red meat out of my diet, I had no more migraines to this day, and that was probably over 20 years ago. After that, I believe came seafood and berries. And those were anaphylactic shock type of reactions.
So seafood, no, it was meat first, then berries and seafood?
It was red meat first. I think they probably were on the heels of each other now that I think about it. I definitely took out the red meat as per the suggestion of some woman I met from Switzerland. Right afterwards, I took out the seafood. I'm lying, I didn't take it out. I started getting treated for eating, for reacting to it. I had a prescription called Atarax from that first time of the seafood allergy kind of thing. And then that's extremely strong and it puts you to sleep for like 2 days. But I did that a lot. I did a lot of Atarax. I stopped eating seafood in 2001.
We're just getting back from leaving this morning. I went to see the specialist at UCLA, and I didn't get great news. He's going to change up my medication, Dr. Marc Riedl. I'm actually going back to a medication I started with when I was in college, Atarax. So I'm going to change back to that medicine, and then I didn't get great news, but the good news was that I was told this is not a permanent condition. Chronic angioedema is not a permanent condition for everyone, that most patients, up to 70% of patients actually get rid of it, or it leaves them as mysteriously as it came. So I'm hopeful, I'm wishing that it's gonna leave. They said some people for days, they'll have it weeks, months, and in my case it's years. And again, that's a 70% chance that it will disappear as mysteriously as it came. So wish us luck. Wish me luck.
So the dairy caused pain and shock to my system, as if someone was internally zapping me if I had dairy. But with the seafood and stuff like that, it would be a whole, you need to walk around with an EpiPen and anaphylaxis shock. I am now. I cannot tolerate, and this has been again a progression. A year ago, I could eat nuts and wheat and gluten. Today, I cannot eat nuts or wheat and gluten. 2 years ago, I could eat plums and cherries, and so it's like it'll be a year of something I could have, or even it could be a week of I've been eating the same food, and now all of a sudden I can't tolerate it anymore. So it's
wow. Have you found that sometimes you can go back to other foods, like that maybe have you or do things just get off the list forever?
Forever. No, I've found ways to be able to add foods back in by adding coconut into my diet. So it is a limited amount of things that I can add back in, but without the coconut, I wouldn't even be able to probably tolerate water.
What does coconut do?
For whatever reason, it helps to rebuild my my tolerance. It seems to rebuild my immune system. I don't have and that's the other thing, I don't have a challenge. I have a challenge with my immune system, but opposite most other people, my immune system is overreactive. And it's probably partly because my whole body is cleansed of, there are no toxics, and, everything I eat is clean and pure, and so I'm extremely sensitive because of that also. But the coconut, if I eat something, just like a banana, because I was told you were going to be nice enough to have bananas for me. But if I
think there's a little brown sitting over there.
So, but if I eat a banana, I react. My throat swells up, my tongue swells up, my lips swell up. I eat a bite of coconut and the swelling goes down. It'll take it away immediately. But if I don't eat coconut every single day, the coconut meat itself, then I won't be able to tolerate even the bite of the banana or plain potato or anything. So the coconut, between Benadryl and coconut, those two things sustain my life.
After putting in her due diligence on the internet, Vanessa was successful with finding a network of people who also suffered from non-hereditary idiopathic angioedema. Although there are many similarities in their symptoms, no two stories are the same.
Hey guys, it's Vanessa Williams, executive producer of Life Without a Fork, and I am anxiously awaiting Deb Whitcas's arrival. Deb should be here soon. She's here, she's here. Oh, this is good. So, yeah. So what do you have in Deb?
I'm vegetables like broccoli and olives and artichokes. My treat is the green leaves, the dolmens. They're rice filled, which I can have rice and potatoes, and I can have the outside. But and mushrooms, some kale, and some spinach, and some quinoa. So that's how I get my protein. Penny fish. I almost died from eating a piece of fish about 3 years ago, and I have not had a piece of fish since. So I'm scared to death to eat fish. I had to take a week off of work. I had 2 separate attacks from one piece of fish that I ate, so it scares the bejeebies out of me to eat fish. It's been rough. Almost 3 months premature. So I was like, maybe that's it. You know, like maybe that's where all this came from too. Just because, I mean, my allergist had told me that like this was probably hereditary because my dad had a few allergies and they were like, you probably got it from your father, you just got a worse case.
Even though we're idiopathics, there's obviously a genetic connection in there somewhere, and I'd like for us to get to that genetic connection.
Right, the identifier on it. And then we're using that to look at, are there better tests that we can use to define this and figure out where the problem lies. And there is some genetic work that goes on, as you asked about.
I just turned 39, so it's been several years now that I've been struggling with allergies and not being able to eat the foods that I really want to eat. I've lost a ton of weight. I've lost about 15 pounds in the last 4 years from this, and it's great because I'm skinny, but it's challenging. Because you go to restaurants and you always have to say, I have a soybean allergy, I have this allergy, and everywhere you go you have to like explain. If someone meets you for the first time, you have to explain what's going on, and, you know, that you'll die if you eat something. It's scary. It's like you literally you can't eat, and it's like everyone should be able to eat and not be scared that they're gonna die. And I have to watch everything I put in my mouth, like everything.
Deb, you said you eat processed foods or no?
Okay, I can't eat anything processed. I'm highly allergic to soy and soybean. My throat starts to close immediately, and so I cannot eat anything processed at all. So that's a challenge. Soy is in everything. Soy is in cans of tuna fish. Get that again. Soy is in cans of tuna fish even. So it's unbelievable that I have to read every box, every label, to see if there's soy. And if there's soy, I had little tiny things, like as a child, I felt some things and I had hives, allergic reactions here and there, nothing big. And then, like at 27, 28, it was coffee I became allergic to, and I just stuck with that. And then, like the next year, it was like I couldn't do peanuts. And then at 35, it all hit. I was producing a scene. My friend owns a candy shop, and he was breaking the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest peanut butter cup in the world, and I was there helping him out and everything, and I'm allergic to peanuts, but I've always had to ingest them before, and it's never been airborne for me, I've never had the problem, and there was so much peanut butter in the room, I felt my throat starting to close, and I was like, I have to go outside. So I had to excuse myself from like the peanut butter making, and people were laughing at me, and I was like, guys, this is serious, like my throat's really starting to go here, like, and they were like, well, leave, you know, so I laughed and like left for like 10-15 minutes, and then came back in and it was fine, but yeah. Like,
I had a response to cinnamon too, like a very strong cinnamon candy that I sucked on, and then right after that I've had a response. I've never had a response to cinnamon food, but I have had a response to cinnamon candy, so I just avoid cinnamon candy.
You know what's interesting too? I got bit by ants one time, and I felt it triggered. And I was like, that's weird, because I normally don't get like bug bites and get triggered, but and it happened twice. Like, and I only got a few little ant bites. And I was like, ooh, I feel my throat going. Like, but I don't swell up. It's just my throat, or I get a rash. But I haven't had a rash in years, so it's literally just I feel like my throat going to kill you. I was fostering a rabbit, and I had a bad allergic reaction to the hay and to the rabbit, and I went to the urgent care, and they tested my breathing, and they're like, your breathing's fine, and I was like, okay, well, my throat is definitely messed up. It's messed up since last night. So they were like, but you're fine. You're fine.
And you're like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. And that's another reason why, so that's why I stay on this study, because of all of the misinformation and because of the stuff that we know what our bodies are doing.
How many people worldwide suffer with chronic, non-hereditary, idiopathic angioedema?
Trying to find out, to answer that one of the other questions you asked earlier, how many people have the condition. Nobody knows that answer. It's important for us to be able to document this stuff.
People don't know they have it.
That's correct.
Everyone thinks it's an allergy.
That's correct.
Did I.
For people who are new to the condition as a whole, they don't know how to deal with it, how to manage it, what's going on. So, we kind of just are freaking out, like, okay, I'm dying, and the doctors literally don't know.
Angioedema is an orphan's disease about which very little is known or understood, and the number of affected people remains unknown.
It's scary having this disease and having your throat closed and no doctors even know what's going on. My name is Solstice Jensen. I'm 14 years old. My angioedema is chronic. My first symptoms were really bad stomach pain when I was about 4 years old. My mom would take me to the hospital because I would be screaming in pain. And it just got worse and worse over the years. And I just kind of thought that I had really bad stomach aches and really bad headaches until about 6 months ago. And that's when certain parts of my body would start swelling, or I would get a lot sicker than usual. It took 10 years to be diagnosed. My main triggers are medications. I have a lot of triggers to medications, which is hard having this disease because you're on so many medications. And I have triggers to dyes, sodium, dairy, and stress is probably my biggest one. I've had idiopathic angioedema my whole entire life, but I was diagnosed with hereditary angioedema 4 months ago, and that was the first time they told me that it was angioedema. But it was the wrong form, so they were treating me with the wrong medications, and I kept on getting sicker because blood product is something that would trigger my angioedema, my idiopathic angioedema, to get worse. So it's been about 2 weeks since I was diagnosed with the right kind, which is idiopathic angioedema, the antihistamine medicated angioedema. There has been a point in time where I couldn't even hold a feeding tube down. I do get stressed out a lot, and it's not good for my body. It makes it worse. I was depressed for a long time, and it was because I was in so much pain and because nobody believed me. I spent about a month in the ER every single day for almost all day. And then I was in the hospital for 2 months after that. And so that's been 3 months total. And I just got out the day before Thanksgiving. So that was like a week ago when we're doing this now. But I guess when you guys see it, then it won't be. But I don't have much of a social life anymore. I mean, I still get to see my friends sometimes, and I talk to a couple people here and there, but I I don't really hang out with people. I don't really feel good enough to hang out with people. Yeah, almost anything can, honestly. Like, if I've had somebody shake my hand and my whole arm will swell up, or I can't really walk right now, I'm gonna walk to the bathroom or something. Like, if I walk for long periods of time, my knees will give out and will swell, and I've been in a wheelchair for it's gotten a lot worse. It's gone from stomach pains to having the throat swell, so it's gotten really bad. I think that it can get better if I get on the right course for treatment and people start becoming more aware of the disease and know what's happening. I think that it could get better. I do think that it can kill me also. It can also get worse. I mean, I'm 14 years old, and the severity of this disease, I kind of have a feeling that this might be what's going to kill me, and I'm 14 years old. No 14-year-old should know what's going to kill them. Nobody really knows what's going on. For the longest time, doctors did not believe me. They thought that I was crazy. They told me that I could go get a psych consult. And my face was swelling, like it was obvious that something was wrong, but doctors will not admit that there's something wrong unless they're old-time, amazing, great doctors, then they will not admit it, and it's hard. They don't have any idea what's going on, nobody really does, and you just kind of have to teach them every time. Your throat is closing, and you have to teach them how to treat you. They told me that I was crazy, even though I had this diagnosis, and that I could stop my body from swelling and stop my throat from closing, and then it was all up in my head. And it made me so mad. I mean, they finally had a diagnosis, and they're still telling me that I was crazy. You've got to be kidding me.
When my psychiatrist first told me I had a big problem with that, I had an extremely huge problem with him trying to say that me having chronic angioedema is all in my head.
How many medical practitioners respect the severity of angioedema.
But your type of condition is, I think, is more severe, and then people probably know me because I went to school for nutrition, so I know that there's a lot of different eating conditions, but I'm sure for the average person, they probably think that it's all in your head.
Yeah.
You know, and for the average doctor, you know, who probably went to Mickey Mouse University, dial 1-800-MD, MD by mail. I'm pretty sure that, you know, they think that you're crazy.
Yeah.
They think that you're crazy.
I'm Meredith, Fallow, and I'm a triple threat. I have idiopathic anaphylaxis, idiopathic angioedema, and I'm a 3-time thyroid cancer survivor, which means that I also have hypothyroidism. Normal day for me involves things like playing with my beloved kitties here. If I can see if anybody will be interested in showing what we do here in the bedroom. Taking wonderful doses of huge amounts of medications. But most of all, I wanted to tell you about what a shower is like for me. Most people go to shave their legs. You throw a little shaving cream on your legs, you get a razor, you shave your legs, you jump in the shower after checking the water temperature, you shampoo your hair, condition your hair, and jump out. For me, it's a 3-hour process. I have to take extra meds so that I can chafe the lower portions of my legs, which then turn bright candy apple red. I have to sit in front of a fan for probably 30 minutes while the additional meds I have to take kick in. Then I can go back and try to get the other half of my legs, which also takes another 30 minutes or so, more meds, and then finally, if I'm brave enough and still conscious, then I can go on into shampooing and conditioning my hair. So for me, that's a 3-hour process, and in between times I have to sit in front of a fan and try and cool down. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about my med regime. I take multiple layers of antihistamines to try and keep me from going into anaphylaxis and angioedema. I take lots and lots of Benadryl, over 300 milligrams a day. I take hydroxine, which is also known as Atarax, more than 300 milligrams a day. I take Zyrtec. I take Pepcid. I have to carry 2 twin packs of epinephrine with me at all times. And of course you see my lovely fashion statements of my wonderful hospital bracelets, as I can't wear anything else. I just thought that you should know that those of you who take such simple things as a shower for granted, those of us who live in the world of angioedema and anaphylaxis know that anything we eat, drink, touch, or smell at any time can send us into angioedema, anaphylaxis, or in my case, immediate respiratory arrest, which requires me to be intubated and put on a ventilator, which in the last 2 years I've been on a ventilator between 12 and 15 times. So for those people who think that this is something that's in our head, it's very, very real. It's very, very frightening. And I hope that we can bring some awareness to a very little understood illness that many of us have and are fighting with. Thanks for your time. Just thought I'd give you a look into what my life is really, really like, and hope you enjoyed our visit.
Today is not a good day. Yesterday wouldn't have been. I'm very hungry, very nauseous, a lot of vomiting, and it takes my energy. A lot of that, the throwing up thing is a lot of energy. And then you come up with seeing silver, and so.
Are you gonna cut stuff up first or what?
That's all the little potatoes we got. Oh,
Yeah, we got some. We got more in there. Seems great. We'll see how it sounds. Just everywhere you're sitting, right?
Cool.
Let's see how quickly I can do this.
You shouldn't know in case I gotta get, unless you're gonna put it in my pocket.
Nah,
I gotta get
it's
up
right
and
there.
run to the vomit place.
The vomit place. Is there a special place for the vomiting place? It's called the toilet, right?
Yeah, that's it, Chris. I am a mother. My baby girl, she's priceless.
My name is Katya Williams.
We are now recording, Katya. We are recording.
Wait, I gotta put on my shoes. My mom is Vanessa Williams.
You can't even see you.
My mom loves me.
What do you... Okay, short of Hugh Laurie coming in, swooping in, and say, short of someone saving you, coming in and going, here's your reset button, here's how we're gonna fix Vanessa, here's your magic pill, here's your magic cure, here's the, you think this thought or whatever. What do you hope to accomplish? Like, or what do you feel about it? Because you keep saying that you sort of like want to throw in the towel, or whenever you get sick or you have a setback, it makes you want to go and give up.
This is actually my first time getting to this give up state. Because I tried a lot.
Sounds to me like you're saying that you did so much caretaking of your family, your older siblings, your mother, your husband. You took care of everything, and I think a lot of the pain and a lot of what you're going through is that now you need to be taken care of, and you don't feel like you're able to take care of yourself, or
nor do I have anyone who steps in.
And sometimes when you lose that energy out to other people, and you don't keep up for yourself. And I think it's good, like, I don't know if any of this will be usable to you, but I feel compelled to tell you, I think it's good that you have to keep even in your darkest moments, you have to keep you're making a movie, you're making a documentary, but you know what? You're making, regardless of whether the camera's on you or not, you're making a story. It's the story of your life, Vanessa. And it's up to you. Like in all these scenes, you can have emotional outbursts, you can have all these things happen. It's going to be up to you, though, ultimately. Is this movie going to have a happy ending? Or is it going to end very sad? You know? And so a lot of the choices and a lot of the way we think about it, and I know that it's almost seems like bullshit, but I can tell you, it's hard in those dark moments or when you're having a problem to remain positive. You have to find those things that keep you going. Is that what you're most afraid of?
I just want my baby to be cared for. The living thing is not so important to me anymore. I'm not even allowed really anymore to. Do I want my daughter back in my life? In other words, social services will get involved. And disability will get involved, and they'll put her in the system. So it's not even a choice for me anymore.
The thing is this, I didn't know until maybe 2 years ago from a fellow sufferer. I found out that there's an emotional tie-in with angioedema, and it's something that we cannot control. So when we swell, we also have other issues that happen, and one of them is an emotional thing. So sometimes we get to the crying stages. When I met Melina, I was at one of those stages. I've actually made 2 films. The second one is called Jumping Out of Buildings, and that is starring Amin Joseph of The Expendables. The first film, by the way, I've got a lot of celebrities in there, like Dolph, Lundgren and stuff like that. But back to Jumping Out of Buildings. Jumping out of buildings is kind of like what you think it is. It's the fact that most of us are 730 at one point or another. Crazy. We go crazy when we isolate and we're going through the angioedema. It is what I like to tell people, Alice in Wonderland, going down in the rabbit hole. Sometimes I ask people, I do whatever I can to try to manage my situation. I say, can you please keep me calm? Because once I go down the rabbit hole, or any of us go down the rabbit hole, it's really challenging to come back out of that rabbit hole. And it can take me days or even weeks of crying every single day. And that chronic crying is an actual symptom of the angioedema.
Hey guys, it's Vanessa Williams, executive producer of Life Without a Fork. Welcome back to the Swell Diaries. I've been swelling. I've been swelling. I've had some major issues, and a lot of them is me trying to get my environment under control, and I think a big part of that is going to have to do with me getting my mindset situated around things, accepting certain things. So yeah, that being said, I spaz out whenever my environment isn't exactly the way I think it should be, and so and then I just cried my eyes out. I am. We need to move. With where we are right now. So yeah, see that? You can see the swelling more from this angle. That's a lot of swelling I've got today. So yeah, heading out to the market now. I eat only perishables. So with me eating only the perishable foods, I pretty much have to shop daily. There are just all these elements, and so yesterday I spent I don't know how long. The carpet cleaner came, the gardener came. I scrubbed, all of the furniture, and I did so much stuff, and so that's a big part of the swells today. And this has gone down a lot. I woke up probably about an hour ago. Usually I'm far less swollen in the eyes after an hour or so. But yeah, I did as much work as I could in the house, and I'm telling you, all the trips up and down the steps, all the trash taking out. I completely, scrubbed out the shower. Cleaned Katya's bathroom, cleaned my bathroom, just a lot of work. And then Katya and I kind of, again, got into it. And, the thing is, yesterday she told me when she came home that she was stressed out from school. School is a big deal for her, the stressors, that is. And, she did tell me in advance about it, and yet and still... when I got to the breakdown point, and I broke down. I broke down yesterday. I did, guys. And so yeah, at my breakdown stage, I completely lost it, and I was I try so hard to keep everything clean, and she's like, I'm trying so hard too, Mom. I don't know what more that you're supposed to want, because I'm tired. And the biggest guilt I have is my daughter.
Respect people who are continuously hurting my feelings, which I think is very normal. If you feel something like that from someone, you tend to not want to respect them a whole lot. You're just gonna kind of want to stop talking to them, and I don't necessarily want to have the relationship. I'm trying really hard to prevent the kind of thing where I'm just the kid who hates home, and I want to love home. I want to love my parents, I want to be able to come here and have a good old time, and everything is not always going to be dandy, obviously, but I don't want to be counting the days, and I keep saying that. I just don't want to be counting the days, so I keep trying to talk. Another thing is that I keep trying to talk about it with you, and I feel like you're very dismissive on the topic, and that hurts my feelings a lot too, because it's not gonna go anywhere. It's just not getting better, and then it's sad and almost mean, because in a way you're saying that you don't want it to get better when you don't want to talk about it with me, and I know sometimes you can't. I understand that, you know? And that also brings me to sometimes where it hurts my feelings. What I was telling Auntie Pat, that, you know, you give everybody up to your 91st minute, and then I come to get mine, and there's none left. And that's very hurtful to me too. And I get that from you almost every day. And I think I deserve more than that. Not just because, you know, what I just think I just deserve more than that. Like, at least equal. Can I at least have one of the minutes, you know? Can I at least have one part of it is what I feel like at least I deserve as a person that, you know, you want to talk to, and as your kid, I feel like I deserve that part, you know? And sometimes I do get my minute, but it's not a whole minute because you're doing other stuff and you're still talking to other people, and then you have to pause and then you have to cut it short. And that's frustrating and hurtful to me too. Those are all the things that I wanted to say.
Option one, her dad called yesterday morning. He doesn't call for like 4 and 5 months at a time, 7 months. And I asked him, please, can he just step it up, because he's an addict. She needs one parent, and I can't promise to be that one anymore for her. You know, no matter how much hell I was in my head, I always had my whole life ahead of me. But every time I eat something and it threatens my life, my whole life ahead of me thing is not quite the same anymore. My whole life ahead of me could be minutes at that time. I'm tired of trying to make it work like, oh, I'm gonna do positive affirmations, or I'm gonna talk to good people every day, and I did that so much, and then I'm so tired. Every time I get sick from a major setback, my enthusiasm about stuff changes. Mm-hmm. So I was really enthused about doing the documentary, because that meant I was really enthused about saving my life. But I got tired again.
Yo, what's up? This is Doug. You're fresh, and I hope you feel better, Vanessa.
Vanessa, feel better. Ivan Drago.
Hi, I'm Marc Riedl. I'm most known for my role in Zeke and Luther on the Disney Channel. And I just want to say, feel better, Vanessa.
How you doing? My name is Quinton, star of Blindside. I just want to shout out my girl Vanessa Williams. She's not feeling good right now. I hope she feels better. Feel better, baby.
My name's Wayne Hammett. I'm a musician and a writer, and I just want to give a shout out to my friend Vanessa, who's not feeling very well. Feel better, V. We love you.
How you doing? This is Chris Coliari, and feel better, Vanessa. Take care. My name is James Black. I did The Starter Wife with Deborah Messing, and I did Love Chronicles 2. Feel better, Vanessa.
My name is Debbie Lee, and I'm the chef and owner of Beyond You Food Truck. Feel better, Vanessa. I'm Amanda Cypress. I just look like her. Feel better, Vanessa.
I gotta give a shout out right now to Vanessa. Beautiful, incomparable Vanessa. I hope you get well soon.
Welcome back to the Swell Diaries. I am swelling. I had my histamine dump probably happen at like 3 in the morning, and then we had to get up early and come on back out to Malibu. Katya is shooting a film. It's beautiful out here. Malibu is beautiful. But yeah, so I'm really tired. Okay, yeah, we're really on some kind of farm situation. I don't know if that's an elephant or what. So yeah, but mast cells got activated between the lack of sleep. They fed us well yesterday, though. I got to eat. What can I eat? I got to eat some asparagus, and they had some other really good vegetables and stuff like that. So, but yeah, LG, we don't come back to Malibu until Sunday. So, it's a drive. It is a drive. But yeah, then hopefully I'll be feeling a lot better by then.
Angioedema does not discriminate against age, race, gender, creed, or geography.
Okay, so good morning. Today is June 3rd, 2011, and shooting the documentary film Life Without a Fork with regards to living with histamine-mediated chronic angioedema. I am about to phone an 80-year-old woman, Jackie Griffin, and she has been living with chronic angioedema, histamine-mediated, and again, it's non-hereditary angioedema, for nearly 60 years, so it's been a long time. Her case is a little bit different from mine, but no less severe, so I'm going to make the call right now. And I have to do this via speakerphone because she's in New York State, upstate New York, and I am in Southern California. Hi Jackie, it's Vanessa. Can you hold 1 second? I just want to make sure my microphones are on.
My name is Jacqueline M. Griffin. That's JACQUILYN-GRIFFIN. I live in Hammond, New York.
How old are you, Jackie?
I was born 6/20/30, so I'll be 81 in a couple days.
That's awesome. Wow. happy birthday. That's so cool. Yeah. Exactly. You're like a piece of cake. And then you have a condition. What's the name of your condition?
I have actually allergies, asthma, and angioedema. It is not hereditary. I was tested for hereditary and came back negative.
And how long have you been living with angioedema?
It started in 1951 in June.
And what are your symptoms?
I have a great deal of swelling in my feet, hands, face, and throat. My face gets very distorted. My feet hurt and my hands hurt. And I have some difficulty breathing when I get into a real severe case.
You said your feet and your hands hurt?
Yes.
Can you describe that pain?
It's a tender pain. It's hard to walk on them. If you touch them, it's very painful. The hands are not too bad because I don't have to walk on them. I can limit my use of my hands. The face and the throat are a little severe.
Well, again, it's up to you. No, but I mean, if you want to send, if you want me to order a couple blood tests just to make sure it's not something inflammatory, that's fine. I don't see any problems with your joints, so I don't think you probably have anything major in terms of inflammation. But the blood tests sometimes just make us, reassured that there's not a problem. So that's up to you. Okay. And I might, just in case we have to, I hope we don't need to use the Dapsone, but just in case if we're going to draw blood, I'll just do a blood count. That way we know where we started in case, a couple months down the road, we can track it just to think ahead, just in case. That way you don't have to run around up there and get that done. Okay? All right. Good.
I am a teacher.
I guess this is the recording that I've made for Vanessa for the her movie. My name is Brian Holden. I'm 51. My form of angioedema is chronic, idiopathic, histamine-genic angioedema. So that means that it happens. It's chronic, so it happens sort of just continuously. It's idiopathic in that there's no immediate trigger. It's histamine-genic, which means that it's related to the histamine system. So the first time that I got an outbreak or an attack was maybe 10 years ago, maybe 11 or 12 years ago. And what happened was, I don't remember exactly what part swelled, but somewhere around my mouth, presumably, or eye, swollen, became swollen. I've managed to live with my angioedema very effectively by using Zyrtec in a very careful way. So what I've been able to do is to find that if I take a quarter of a Zyrtec per night, so I use a pill knife, I cut a Zyrtec into 4 pieces, length and width-wise. Take so 2.5 milligrams per night, every night before I go to bed. And then if I feel it, if I wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning and I feel it starting to come on, I'll take 2 more full pills, so 20 milligrams. And so by doing that, I'm able to really control it very well, so that when it starts to happen, I can stop it from being a big swell. I can have it just be a small swell. By taking the quarter, it lowers the frequency, and it seems to lower the velocity. It happens less often, and when it does happen, I can stay on top of it. It doesn't happen so fast and get out of control. It's slow, and I can just take the 2 pills and really, kind of get it to screech to a halt before my face is all swollen. So that's the formula that I've used very effectively, and it's turned what was very annoying to just a minor annoyance. And for me and in my body, and obviously many people are worse, but that's what it took, and it took me some years to get to that formula. But once I found that formula, it made a big difference in it.
My name is Shelline Ross, but my friends call me Shelly. I'm 42 years old, and I live in Brandon, Manitoba, Canada. I'm a bit of Russian, Germanic, Dutch, Canadian, but I married Scottish. I've had histamine-mediated chronic angioedema since February of 2000. And since then, my body has been fighting itself and has had reactions to just all sorts of different things. And I get like a swollen lip, and my eyes puff up. Swollen arms, legs, and the worst of all, my throat swells. Angioedema can mimic anaphylactic shock and asthma. And even though I've been told that angioedema can't kill me when I'm in the middle of a reaction, I feel that it probably could. So I'm still not sure about that one. A little bit about my medical history up until I knew the word angioedema. I had chronic rhinitis and allergies to molds and environmental elements and hormonal issues, slight thyroid issues and infertility, a miscarriage, and some type of big viruses I went through and stuff. Also, I did not know how to manage stress very well, which is often a big thing. But despite of taking care of myself, I always seemed like I had a low immune system. So before my diagnosis and before I knew the word angioedema, I had swellings on my upper lip after I had a Reese's peanut butter cup, and it lasted for a couple of days. And then for about a week later, I got the biggest hive on my tummy after I'd been at the gym. So either it was from the chemicals they used or just from strenuous exercise, from sweating too much, getting overheated, I guess. Along the way, there are different triggers like foods with molds such as strawberries and cauliflower and tomatoes and tannins like some red wines and some black teas. And I also had issues with warm temperatures, warm water, environmental elements, strenuous exercise, restrictive clothing, and even intense emotions. I would just get covered with hives and I just felt my face starting to swell and stuff. So the odd thing was that these things weren't consistent, and the next week I was fine with these things. So it was very confusing. This led me definitely into a state of fear, and I was afraid to go out and socialize for sure, because what if I'd have a reaction? And I was new to this, so I didn't quite know how to deal with it, especially not emotionally. I quit my job. I was afraid to eat, so I lost 10 pounds right off the bat. Yeah, it was very isolating as well, because I didn't know another person who'd gone through this.
I think isolating doesn't help. My friend Chris said we're getting me out of the cave.
Getting out of the cave is a very good
suggestion.
Angioedema is also a very, very isolating condition. We get isolated because of people not believing us, because we were also afraid to stress out. So that's one of the things that we do for the stress, is to isolate. We have a lot of people who spend a lot of time alone, and when I met Melina, I think Melina was one of my friends. My pharmacist was one of my friends, the lady at the grocery store. But I didn't have any other friends. I didn't have people, a support system, people to help me out.
As far as being socially challenged, I recently just got tired. Like all the work I have to keep doing to try to even get out of bed. All the work I have to do to try to refigure out what I can eat, because I wake up starving every single morning. So, and I have to put a lot of work into just wanting to be here now. I'm so tired. I have a therapist who goes, well, you have your whole life ahead of you. You can still do so much. And to be honest with you, I've done a lot. I'm proud of my accomplishments, and I kind of feel like I have my whole life behind me. So there's no reason to put so much work into getting other stuff done, because I've done a lot already, and I don't feel challenged to do a whole lot more anymore. I think when you get chronically, and in my case it could be considered terminally ill, people change their relationships with you, and you probably your relationship would change with them. I'm angrier by far at people than I used to be. I was never so mad at people. I have very low tolerance for bullshit. Anybody who even looks my way and it seems like it's gonna be a lie, And so that's another reason why I'm exhausted, because I've met so many of those same people over and over and over again. So the support system that I should have, if I just need to go get surgery and I just need somebody to drop me off for anesthesia and pick me up, you know, to not even have that small amount, it doesn't encourage you to want to work, to have more friends, because the numbers don't count the quality. And when you get sick, you start noticing the difference in quality from people with whom you relate. What's the benefit of living with chronic angioedema? I am fearless. You would ask me if I was afraid to die, I'd tell you no. If you would ask me if I were afraid to be alone, tell you no. If you were to ask me if I were afraid not to have any friends, I would tell you no. I'm fearless. You gotta get in line. You gotta get in line. Back of the line. Cause this chronic angioedema is kicking my ass. And ain't nothing, there's not one single thing that has fucked with me more in this lifetime, even living with an addict for 17 years. There's nothing in my life that's fucked with me more than this shit here. So get back there, get back there. You talk your shit back there, cause chronic angioedema is right up front, right in my face, all day, every day. I ain't scared of you, or you. Say what the hell you want to say to me. I'm not afraid of starvation. I'm not afraid of poverty. I ain't scared of that shit. I'm afraid of how much longer I gotta live like this. If you want to know the truth, that's the only thing I'm afraid of. That this is going on indefinitely. And my whole life will stay like this, indefinitely or forever.
I finally saw an immunologist about 3.5 months after my first reaction. Here in Canada, you gotta be on a long waiting list, and that's how long I had to wait. In the meantime, I tried like just plain antihistamines and stuff like that, which didn't help at all. That's why this seems so extra important to be doing this, because so many people haven't heard of this and don't quite know how to react to it. And so often we just look normal, so I just wonder what our problem really is. Is it psychological? Sometimes I felt it was, because no one would really understand where I was coming from. So
another reason why I started this venture is because, you know, it's hard for people who are new to the condition as a whole. They don't know how to deal with it, how to manage it, what's going on. So, you know, we kind of like just are freaking out, like, okay, I'm dying, and the doctors literally don't know.
I definitely had some trips to the emergency room. My throat started swelling on occasion, and I started wheezing, and my husband took me to the emergency room with my fat lip, kind of looking like an orangutan, and so everything was just thoroughly embarrassing. But what's even worse was a few times that we'd gone to the emergency, each time they'd asked me as they were glaring at my husband, did he strike you in the mouth? And I felt so bad for him, because he's like the sweetest guy, and I was shocked anyways, but what are they supposed to think, right? So that was pretty devastating anyways for me and my husband. After that, and all the medications I was put on and this and that, and still not thrilled with how my form of life had become. It just wasn't fun, and I was living in fear. And so I was really encouraged by those closest to me to go check out the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. My parents were incredible enough to fund this trip for me, and it was just the most amazing experience. I was taken such good care of, and they really cared down there. The only problem is that they couldn't find out why I was having these reactions and just stamped it as idiopathic. They didn't know, and they said this happens. So at that point, it had pretty well been a year, and they figured I was in that 12% that might have this for the rest of my life. So to hear that from these professionals who've been doing this for years and still had many questions themselves, it was very devastating, very. So I left there kind of deflated, but at least they gave me better medications to use that I didn't feel as doped out on. But that being said, I also chose to stay on lower doses of the medications and rather deal with slight daily itching of hives that wanted to pop out. And it seemed to be worse at nighttime. I kind of dreaded every evening. And it was a horrible trade-off, but I don't want to feel doped out either. So it's also horrible to know that I did stump the doctors on more than one occasion. It's the most horrible feeling to know that even a professional just looks at you with a blank look and a question mark. And so I experienced that a lot, despite how good these doctors were and how caring they were. So throughout all of this, I had 3 miscarriages, and that was another devastating part of my life throughout all this. And even the thought of wanting to be pregnant or being pregnant with this condition really scared me, because I didn't know if the medications would hurt the fetus or if I'd have reactions during that 9 months. I just didn't know, and my doctor had nothing to draw from, no other case. She didn't know how to help me, and she just said, well, take the medications at your own risk and cross your fingers you won't have a reaction and stuff. So definitely went through that 9 months in fear. I had to try and remain calm, but that was always in the back of my mind. What if? And thank God, May of 2003, my beautiful, healthy daughter was born. So miraculously, nothing went wrong. And now my doctor had a case to draw from for other people she might encounter with a similar condition. So she kind of used me as her guinea pig, maybe, I guess. And she's quite thankful for all we learned through, what I went through and everything.
Do you also treat is it Bradykinin or Bradykinin?
So one additional class of the idiopathic form is called idiopathic Bradykinin-mediated angioedema. And this is also, of course, unknown cause, idiopathic, but it's a different pathway than the allergy pathway. It's a pathway that leads to the production of a chemical called bradykinin, and that also, like histamine, can cause skin swelling and angioedema symptoms, but requires very different medications. So all the allergy medications that might help with histamine causes of angioedema don't help the bradykinin form, and that's where there's been a lot of research in the last few years to try to help find ways to treat people suffering from bradykinin-mediated forms of swelling.
My name is Campbell. I'm 32 years old. I live in Bedfordshire in England. I'm bradykinin-mediated. My understanding of all idiopathic angioedema is that 95% of it is histamine-mediated. So that means you respond to antihistamines, EpiPens, prednisolone. Unfortunately, I don't respond to any of them. I have to mind from the bradykinin, which I believe is an enzyme in your blood. This is where it's quite similar to hereditary angioedema, even though I'm completely negative for that. Mine happened, like I say, about 4.5–5 years ago. I was at the dentist. I started feeling very uncomfortable around the neck area. I came home and I was really hot. My skin was bright red. So I jumped into the shower and I just swelled. My whole body just swelled up. I called my sister, she came and got me, took me to my local GPs where I collapsed, and they revived me and got me going again. They thought it was an allergic reaction, pumped me full of antihistamines, steroids, EpiPens, adrenaline, but I had to have a huge dose of it. When I got to hospital, it sort of calmed down a bit and then it kicked off again, and it was quite bad. I remember them having the resus team round and the shocker pads. I didn't have to be shocked, luckily enough. They managed to get me going again. I was diagnosed, I was given the wrong diagnosis to begin with. I was told I'd got idiopathic anaphylaxis, and was put on the wrong medication, and it took probably about 2-3 years to push to get to see the right consultant where I got the correct diagnosis about 18 months ago. And the only triggers that I've found is, like for instance, I had a swelling on a few days ago. I've got an ear and throat infection, and so if I'm a bit run down with viruses, colds, that triggers it. Stress is a huge one. If I get too hot, but mainly it's to do with like hormone cycles. So at certain times of the month, I know that I'm more sensitive to having a swelling.
Let's get ourselves comfortable and get ourselves in all the right places. It's Life Without a Fork documentary part 2. It's me, Heather Campbell from Bedfordshire in Flitwick. I got diagnosed, well, my swells first started, I should say, over 9 years ago. And a few years ago I took part in the first part of the documentary of this film. I think I'm a very different person now than I was. My journey, so to speak, I've come from being very scared and very frightened and feeling like, you know, that was going to be it, that's going to be the end. But now I don't think like that at all. My swells to begin with were violent, out of control. You wouldn't recognise me. You know, my kids called me bullfrog because my neck comes out like that, and Jabba the Hutt, my whole body goes into it. And I still do get them swells, but it's not as often now because I'm under the control of a fantastic team in stop having swells or reduce the amount of swells I have. With any medication that you take, it's always a leap of faith. You always have to jump and hope that it's going to help you. And if it does help you, it will be the best thing that you've ever done in your life. And if it doesn't, you just have to think, again, brush yourself down and think, right, what else can I do? Also with medication, you only ever swap a side effect for a symptom. And you have to look which side effect is going to be harder for you or which symptom is going to be harder for you. And it's not a fair call, but it's a call that we have to make. Off to hospital, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. It's awful. And I really was scared for a long time to go even in my bedroom. But now I've come away and I think, no, you ain't bloody beating me. I will live. And even in the 9 years, the vast improvement that's been made in our medications. I'm Bradykinin-mediated, so I use a new drug called Katya. I think in the US it's called Vistra. But for me, I don't go into hospital anymore. I self-inject at home, and this allows my family life to lead a much longer life. They don't see me getting whizzed off to hospital via ambulance. You know, so the impact on the kids is great because there is no impact. And it's kind of made it a bit more normal. You know, it's okay. I can deal with it at home. And I haven't been in hospital now for a throat swell in over 5 years, which is huge. I was going once a fortnight. And I don't swell as often now. I probably have a major swell that I need to treat every 12 to 16 weeks, which isn't you know, probably the best. But for me, you know, my gap from being 2 weeks to
Hey, it is the 3rd of September, and welcome to the Swell Diaries. This is Vanessa Williams, and I am trying to keep my eyes on the road and want to meet, I believe she is my #1 fan. She definitely is my #1 foot soldier, and my fellow sweller, Bonnie Williams, and she's out here with her family right now, so vlogging it out with the Swell Diaries with Bonnie today, and this is our first time meeting in person. I'm super excited, and so yeah, I'll catch up with you guys on the beach. Hey guys, it's Vanessa and her twin.
Hi, it's Bonnie. How's it going?
Bonnie is in Southern Cali with me today.
We're having a blast.
Alright, can we all do on the end? Hey guys!
Hi!
Hey! We're out here in Southern California. The crew, the Williams crew. What's good? Happy 25th anniversary, Bonnie and Rod. We love you guys.
Thank you. Love you too.
Love you. Bye. What do you show up with, Alex?
I have mild cashew, dog, dust mites, but that was it. And he said that was not the cause of my problem, because it was just really mild. And he said there's no reason to avoid these things, but that's not what's causing the angioedema.
I was about 8 years old when I first heard that my mom had angioedema, but it was really scary when I first was told she had angioedema, because at that point all I knew was her throat swells.
That's my daughter Bethany over there.
Hi,
This
Bethany.
is Vanessa. Nice to meet you.
Bethany come lately. She's Bethany ever after. And she's Bethany the beautiful, let me tell you. She's gorgeous, just like her mom. She's like, oh, stop it. No, really? Keep going.
Right.
Keep going. Do you feel like your mom is literally going to die? Like, do you really feel like in your heart of hearts, are you guys like in panic mode when things are happening and you know, the swells get exacerbated or whatever? Do you feel like that? Like, yeah.
I do, especially this last time. I felt like, you know, I don't know when I'm ever going to be able to talk to my mom again. But yeah, it's definitely scary. I definitely don't know what's going to happen next, and that's not a great feeling.
Much longer. If there's anything that you want, a message you might want to give out, is there anything you might want to tell any kids who are, you know, children, like my child is, you know, the child of a parent who has angioedema. Is there any advice you would want to give to any of the kids who have parents living with the condition?
I would just mostly say stay strong and stay hopeful. If your mom or dad or whoever has the condition starts having an episode, just make sure that you can be there for them at all times. That's what really counts.
And stay calm.
And stay calm.
Very calm. Don't make them more upset than they need to be, or are already, because they're going to be upset and scared when they're swelling. Your job is to keep them calm.
Literally.
Even though your parents going to be upset and scared, you just need to. Wow. There's so much charge.
Yeah, I know.
You got like a suit or something? I can pull the whole CID.
Can you get me?
Alright, so I'm totally in La Jolla. I just got off the phone with Vanessa Williams, and we were talking about my 24-hour disease. I get to see Dr. Riedl tomorrow, Monday, and I'm just hanging out at the beach. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I will check in. Our 24-hour disease never leaves, and it's always there, but look, I can still enjoy and have fun. And that's what it's all about. Bye! I have been doing this for about
a month and a half recording my thoughts and everything. During all this time, I've had a hysterectomy. I had going septic. I had a tumor from my sternum to my pubic bone removed. I have drains still coming out of my stomach. And during all that time, my angioedema actually behaved itself quite well. So I started to try and come down off a little bit of my prednisone. I don't think my body's quite ready for that. I've kind of been battling small swells today and yesterday. Little bit leftovers. So I'm just going to go back up to the dose I was on and let my body do some more healing and go from there. It will be a year in 2 weeks at the end of July that this diagnosis became official. Through that time I have gone through about 10 to 12 EpiPens, about 5 ER quick trips, lots of just staying at home and managing at home. It's changed mine and my friends and my family's lives. So this is my daughter, Madison. Say hi.
Hi.
She is 13 and it's just her and I, so she's been there, watched it through the beginning. So tell me what you see my anaphylaxis and angioedema stuff. How do you see it?
Well, at first it was kind of scary, but after a while I kind of got used to it. Because, I mean, you can't do anything about it. The best you can do is do what you can, and then when it happens, be prepared.
Right.
I am my dream.
On the trigger. It's hard to get that fast on the trigger, man.
Wait for me to shoot. It's like it ain't gonna happen.
No, what are you trying to do? Are you releasing the cheer? That would be awesome. Dude, I'm auditioning for cheerleaders right now, Vanessa. Dude, you're killing it. How about the 2468?
2498. Because what they're saying is if I can calm my head, and then if I can get all of those crazy things that run around in your head straight, if I can get that straight, then I can help calm the body and get the body will possibly tolerate more foods and things like that. That's what they're saying. So that's why I said that could give me hope. If fixing my mind could fix my body, then that gives me hope.
Definitely hope that all this suffering that you're going through can transpire in the satisfaction of you getting a book published. So
we're actually doing a documentary
so that the people can understand it.
Take me back to when you first started, before you even knew the word angioedema. What were your very first symptoms? What was the first indication that something was wrong?
For the angioedema specifically, so there's a long history of food allergies, but the angioedema itself. So my nephew, he volunteers to babysit for me. I give him the leftovers of my eye towel, and it was vegetarian, and told him not to eat it. I said, don't have any of this because there's meat stock in it, and this is just for Katya to have for lunch, and he fed her lunch, and he took a couple of bites and went to the emergency room. And the thing with the how I knew with the meat protein was that my lips swelled up and my throat swelled up. Probably 2 months later, I moved to
Hollywood, and after some months I couldn't walk, and I'm kind of feeling, like I said when earlier I mentioned that to you, I'm feeling the same, like my body is extremely weak. My laptop feels like it's 50 pounds. To walk it's painful in the legs.
Before I knew the word angioedema, I had swellings on my upper lip after I had a Reese's peanut butter cup. And it lasted for a couple of days, and then for about a week later I got the biggest hive on my tummy after I'd been at the gym. So either it was from the chemicals they used or just from strenuous exercise, from sweating too much or getting overheated again.
I'd never heard of angioedema before I got the condition. I think I was quite ignorant about it. I think most people that don't know anything about it think that if you swell up it's an allergic reaction to nuts or eggs.
So what brings this on? I mean, is this a hereditary thing or is it just me?
It's just you.
No. This is really an intervention.
I didn't answer that for you. So it's important to get right attention around it, and it's important to get the numbers up, because if we get the numbers up, then that means that more of us are going to need medicine, and then maybe the pharmaceutical company will finally start making better drugs for us, and we don't have to take, because I take like 250 milligrams of antihistamines to stay alive.
I take a lot. I try to stay away from it, but...
And you're on Benadryl only.
I take Claritin.
So you don't take any Benadryl?
I will take Benadryl if I have to.
And it's a rescue medication?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I have it in my purse at all times.
Nice.
I have Claritin, Benadryl, and my EpiPen, right with me right here.
Are there some medicines that are preferred over others?
So when we treat patients with swelling, we do try to get to deciding which type of swelling is it. Is it due to histamine? Is it due to bradykinin? And there are some other rare types, but those are the two big groups, if you will. The histamine-mediated form, which can be allergic or can be idiopathic, those usually respond to medications like antihistamines and also corticosteroids, and those are really often the two types of medicines we use to treat those. Antihistamines are very safe, and so as much as we can, we try to maximize the antihistamines, go as high as we can on the dosing without side effects, because many times people are going to suffer from angioedema for months or years, and we need to be safe in terms of the meds we're giving.
Now, there's some concern about dementia developing. I don't think these are big studies, so there's a trend. I don't know if it's true for everybody, but we have become more cautious about using the first generation antihistamines. So those are the ones that get into the brain. So Atarax and Benadryl are on that list. There's some emerging data now that if you use those medicines at high doses for every day for long periods of time, that there could be some effect on the brain. And again, it's mainly dementia, memory problems. But these are long-term effects. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
And I've been doing it long term.
So I want you to be. We gotta, we're gonna do some other things if we start the DAPs, and hopefully that'll help. But we need to try to get those doses down. Yeah. Okay. So I don't worry so much about things like the Zizol and the Zyrtec, although again, taking more than the 2 and 2 of Zyrtec, we don't know how helpful that is. I mean, that's kind of the maximal dose that's been studied that we think is helpful. I mean, I do have patients who take more than that, not under my.
A low level, like 100 milligrams of doxycycline every day, and don't stop it. He's like, some people have been doing it for 10 years because he said it like practically cured him, or like he has no symptoms whatsoever.
Causes hives.
Really?
So
I'd like to do that one now.
The DAP zone.
The DAP zone.
So
try that. We did it before.
Okay, you tried, and it helped before?
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It got me to where I could actually, because I couldn't tolerate water. I was triggering from just water. I couldn't trigger. Everything was swelling in my throat.
And you're swelling right now. What is it? Your face? Where are you swelling?
It's here underneath. This is one of the biggest issues is the subcutaneous swells. It's the most painful. So you can't see it. It's just underneath like a big humming pain. My lips every morning. Right here, I still have some swelling on the side of my face. And then the eyes are every single day. So the nose, mouth, and lips, and and here is every day. And then the abdominal swells happen it depends on what kind of, if it's a mast cell issue, or if I touch alcohol, anything that has like even rubbing alcohol or anything, Listerine, anything that's alcohol related, those abdominal swells are huge, painful, and they last about anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks at a time.
Really? Now why?
It makes me crazy. It makes me like.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
See, so that's why I want you to see him too. Then it's like
I would nuts on it.
Is that right? Like what?
I just get like jittery and high. And
that happens to me when I take like Benadryl sometimes. It gives me deep anxiety, like
Benadryl, yes. Well, Benadryl makes me really sleepy.
Yeah, so
Claritin works, and I'm fine with. I just can't drink wine with Claritin, and then and the Zyrtec makes me like woo. Yeah. Because I'm pretty high energy, and then you put me on that stuff, and I'm like a tweaker. So yeah, we can't do Zyrtec. But the last time I had to pop one, it didn't work as well. And I had to go to the Benadryl. So I will always wait like 10-15 minutes like to see what happens. And then I was like, okay, this is not working. And then I go to the Benadryl. And then I've other two. I've never actually had to use the EpiPen like out and out. But I thought one time I was having that facial allergic reaction, I actually threw up the allergist, and they were like, you're crazy, you should have just called the ambulance.
Because I had some reaction from foods, and then I did an EpiPen and I stuck myself in the thumb with it, and then I was scared to take the EpiPen and I needed it, and so I stayed sicker longer. An accidental injection into hand, which is my thumb, I did, or feet, may result in loss of blood flow to these areas. If this happens, go immediately to the nearest emergency room. Don't know if it did or not, but I wasn't going. I called 911, but I tied up emergency room visits, so I didn't go.
You drive straight to the hospital, or?
No, I went home and that's why I never called 911. Actually, I had somebody yell at me to make me start calling 911. And
well, what happened? You went home and
stop self-medicating, because I would just try to go to sleep for 3 days. The other thing was after that first 911 call, it was the worst because I had to get steroids, and the steroid issue was like the hardest thing for me to deal with in my whole life. Again, I can't imagine why sports players would do that voluntarily. It just tears your body apart and fast, like really fast. So I did go to the hospital, probably the emergency room. I've had maybe 8 911 calls since 2008, maybe 8 to 15. I can't. So yeah, I am still doing Vlogmas with Angioedema, and I just happened to meet, what's your name?
Jolene.
Jolene, what's your last name?
Shane.
Jolene Shane just got out of the ER, and so, we're in the holding room for the moms, and she just found out, guess what? That she has angioedema. What did they tell you?
4 days. So they told me that it's predominantly in African Americans. It's very rare in Caucasians, and I have a rare case of it. That's what she told me. And she put me on heavy steroids and intravenously gave me Benadryl that made me really sick. I started hallucinating. It was heavy duty. And about 8 hours later, my lips started going down, and I have pictures. So I've been diagnosed with angioedema, and I got out of the hospital on Monday, and I've had some swelling, but it's getting better. and this is where I am at this point. So it's pretty good. There's still a little more swelling in my lips, but I'm doing a lot better.
Hey, it's Vanessa Williams on 100 Things to Do Before High School, Sunset Gallery Studios, and I am here with my new swell family. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So this is
Jolene.
I'm Milan.
And of course, I'm Vanessa Williams. And these are our 2 new stars for Life Without a Fork. Woohoo! Getting our numbers up, guys. We're working, and they're awesome. So the swell family is a swell family. See you guys later.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Vanessa, so much. Love you.
Love you more. I love you more. Bye, guys.
Hey, this is Marissa Skates. Thank you, Vanessa Williams, for all of your advocacy efforts for Life Without a Fork.
I hope that there is more awareness and that eventually I can live a normal and happy life.
Swell free.
Swell free.
Another reason for today's event is because 2 things. We need to get our numbers up for Big Pharma to take us seriously. In order for the pharmaceutical companies to start making medications for us, in order for the researchers to start doing some type of research on our behalf, we've literally got to have it so that we get our numbers up. And getting our numbers up means if you have angioedema and you've been diagnosed, find us on Life Without a Fork, like our page. So join the support groups and let the numbers grow. But getting our numbers up also means that there are so many people who have angioedema and don't know it. So I do this without pay, and I do this tirelessly because not only do I want to save my life, I don't know what saving my life really looks like. I know that I can try to help save other people's lives. I came and I got on board with Saving Children at Risk so that we can try to see what we can do for all the children. There are lots and lots of babies with angioedema that are swollen, who can't eat.
We're at a time in the world where there's opportunities that we didn't have before, and anytime somebody's passionate about advocate for Life Without a Fork. Don't be left with idiopathic angioedema.
My thanks to Vanessa Williams for all the work she does. Without her, we wouldn't stand a chance figuring out what my wife is going through on a daily basis, practically. We would surely need your support, your financial support for the Life Without a Fork project.
Support Life Without a Fork and all our advocacy efforts.
The best part. The main thing that I'd like to add is to thank Vanessa Williams because she has honestly saved my life. She's the one that has taught me the most about this disease, more than doctors. She saved my life because I couldn't even hold a feeding tube down. And I thought I was going to die. And she told me 3 foods that I could keep down, which were cantaloupe, coconut, and apples. And that is like the worst thing to be on for a long period of time, to only be able to eat those foods. Like not even water you can't hold down. As she would say, you gangsta, Vanessa.
For Vanessa, you're awesome. I think it's so great that, and you can edit this part out, but that you are just taking this huge project on, and I know it's a passion because, well, it consumes our life, right? So all the best with all your editing, and I hope you can use any piece of this, or if not, like whatever, do with it what you want, but I hope you can use some of it. It was really good for me to do, and yeah, I think for people to understand that without medication, like I would be covered in hives, huge wheels of hives, head to toe, and my face would be just swollen the whole time, and my throat would be swelling up and stuff. So medications are incredible, but the point is they do mask the problem. So I really hope there is a cure. Okay, thanks so much, and I'd love to meet you sometime. Okay, see you later.
Great, good. Take a break.
you never gave me my hug.
It's hot as heck.
I know.
Dude, am I sweating over here? I look sweaty. Let me just. We gotta find. You know what? Let's do it right here. This is just too crazy. That's why I don't do the valley. Take it to the moon. Find out. Let me find out. My girl ain't playing with him. What's up, peoples? This is Amin Joseph. You know me from The Expendables, The Mist, Freelancers, Zane Sex Chronicles, a list of TV credits. I want to give a big shout out to the plane that's crossing by. Yeah.
I am a vegan. So what are you doing today while I'm waiting for traffic? I'm an actress. And I gotta go because my baby girl can't hold all this stuff by herself. I am a teacher. Hold on. It's for the benefits of coconut in your body. Okay, hold on.